Hi, friends. Hey, Happy New Year. I don't think I've done a live yet this year, so hope it's not too late in the year to be still saying Happy New Year. If you can join me live, let me know you're here because I can't tell. Tell me where you live so I could see where you guys are all over the world. That's kind of fun. So I have a couple things that I want to talk about that have come up for me today, my messages from the vortex. If you're new here, I get these downloads from the universe and I love to share them. Thank you for saying that. Love your videos. That's so nice. Thanks. Hi, friends. So glad you're here. Oh, Israel, how awesome. Great. From Pakistan, great. Hi in Pakistan. Hi in Germany. Hi in New York City. Awesome. And Arkansas, great. Great. Sweden, great. 2 people from Arkansas. How funny, right in a row. And Cambridge, UK, great. You know, I was obsessed with England when I was young. Woodstock, Illinois, good. That's closer to me. I'm in Chicago. Welcome, everybody. So let me say a couple things right before I lose the downloads from the universe. And these lives, I love to answer any questions. So ask me a question about mindset or manifesting. Be as specific as you can, and I will do my best to answer it. I have a coaching call later in my inner circle that I'm really excited about. So you're getting me straight off of the paddle tennis court, and I'll go take a shower, and then I'll get ready for my coaching call later with my ladies. We do a 2025 wrap up, big deep dive, and then we do a 2026 planning that I'm really excited about. But today on the call, we're doing a lot of unique things that complement all that. And 2 main things that we are really, really, really focused on in this next year of 2026. We are focused on identity first manifesting, meaning identifying as and becoming who we need to be in order to align with and attract in our dreams and desires. Right, and writing the new stories that we need in order to achieve that identity. So identity first manifesting, writing the new stories, feeling it first. So 3 things, not 2. That's what we're focused on in the inner circle. I'm not trying to tell you the inner circle. You can't get in there unless you graduate from my courses. So the download from today, I was on a call this morning. And I was not hosting the call. I was participating in the call. It was one of my mentors. I'm not going to say who because I want to keep this all very anonymous. And someone on the call said, you know how we have been in an invisible prison by the universe? How we've been imprisoned invisibly by the universe? I was like, what? No, I don't know how that is because I don't have that story. And she went on to say, for the last 10 years, I have felt like the universe has put me in this invisible prison and anything I want, I can't get. And, I tried to get this job and she got very specific and then that didn't happen. And then I tried to do this and then that didn't happen because I've been in this invisible prison. And surprisingly, all these people are into manifesting and law of attraction, and people were chiming in the chat. Yes, me too. Yes, that's so, I can relate. I got it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Now, I've been doing this work for almost 30 years. So I see this so differently. I'm like, that story does not serve you. We can't hold a story of, I've had a rough 10 years because the universe has put me in this invisible prison and expect that we will ever be thriving and achieving great things and manifesting our dreams. We can't with that story. That story is one of victimhood, not power. That story is one of powerlessness and handing over our well-being to circumstances and things outside of our control and not taking ownership over all the things that are within our control. So it seemed a little silly, and the coach on the call did say similar to what I would say, hey, he doesn't use these words like, let's write a new story here. But that's what I would say. Let's write a new story. Life is happening for me, not to me. The universe has my back. It's not imprisoning me. I have created this. Even that, I've created this. No shame or blame. That's not meant to make you feel bad, but I've created this, puts you in your power. And so I see so many ways that we push out these stories that are like placing orders to the universe, and we're getting them back and wondering why our life is the way that it is. We're placing an order, we're receiving that order, and we're wondering why we have to deal with this. I was just having this conversation with one of my students the other day, and they were saying, it's like, I coach women, right? I have these courses. I have a 5-month group coaching container. The January cohort is right now. I will add that link to my bio so you can check that out. Or message me if you want me to send you details. So I coach women, but I also recently have been coaching some teen athletes, some one-on-one teen athletes. And this athlete was saying, well, how come this always has to happen to me? He was getting a series of like small injuries and setbacks. How come it always has to happen to me? It seems like I always have like a health issue going on. It seems like I always have. And I said, hang on. Let's not place an order for injuries and health issues. We are that powerful. I know sometimes that seems like our reality, but we don't have to speak and feel and think about and believe in that reality. If we want to change that reality, we have to talk and feel and think and speak about the opposite. We have to in order to create it. So even, in December, like my son and I were both sick. There was like a, virus going on. I didn't ever talk about it when it was happening because I didn't want to place an order for more of it. And instead, what I was doing, because we were going on a vacation and I was focused on being well, I was focused on wellness and infinite health, and I was focusing on all of the parts of my body that felt so good. And I was just getting myself there. And I was doing all the natural things, and I was taking all the guidance, and I was taking all the supplements, and I was doing Manuka honey, and I was doing steam and neti pot and red light and saunas, and I was like boosting my immunity. And I was waking up in the morning listening to the song, I Feel Good. I mean, I know that I am annoyingly positive and that this stuff I've been doing for a long time. So I am very consistent in my positivity and in my use of like affirmations and mantras and music and the good. And still, it's not like, and then I miraculously got over this, cold so much quicker than any other people. No, it was like lingering. It wasn't fun, but it was no big deal. I wasn't going to hand over my well-being to it. It was a blip on the radar. And I focused on how I felt good. Even if we're having injuries or physical setbacks, we can focus on how good we feel. We can focus on how strong we are. We can focus on mind over body. It's been proven. There's a million amazing books on it, but there's the amazing book by Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's called You Are the Placebo, and it explains the effect of a placebo. If we can take a placebo and it can reverse any of our health issues, then we know that it's mind over body. And then we can find out it's a placebo and then those health issues come back. Duh, how powerful are we? We are so powerful. So I was talking to this teen athlete about that, and I was saying, we can't focus on it. I know that's your reality, but we can't focus on it. And, he was kind of in like, poor me. And that's okay. He's talking to his coach like he needs to be real about what he's thinking, because we create from our dominant thoughts. So that woman who I was mentioning at first, how the universe puts you in an invisible prison? That has been her dominant thought for 10 years. She creates being in a prison and not manifesting what she wants. That was her thing. The universe keeps you imprisoned and you can't manifest. That is her story. She'd been creating that dominant thought, and that dominant thought had been running her life for 10 years. And she's not alone. I know plenty of people who have done this. We are that powerful. And so this teen athlete who I was coaching, who was like, I keep getting injured. It feels like it's always, and then I was sick, and then I had a stomach bug, and then I was injured again. And so something always happens to me. And you know how you think that you're the only one in the world that these hard times, and these hardships, and these challenges are happening to? Like, there is a spectrum of, it's all relative. Like I was saying to this kid, hey, listen, everyone is going through something, and it's all relative. There are friends of yours that are going through way harder things, who've lost their parents, or who are, going through real challenges and struggles at school or physically, and are limited and are in hospitals, and there's a lot silently going through those things that if you could open up the file of their lives, you would totally understand. And there's some with a lot less problems than you. It's all relative, but when we're in it, we feel like we are the only ones having these challenges and struggles. And here's the good news. You're not alone, and you are in control. You are not alone, and you are in control of your reality 100% of the time. You're in control of your dominant thoughts that create. You're in control of the stories that write your life. That's the truth. So those two messages today about this woman sharing, I am in this invisible prison, the universe keeps me. It was so awakening to hear someone say out loud their limit, and then to hear this teen say out loud his limit. Oh, I'm going to always be injured and no. We are going to turn that around, right? I've always had a powerful, positive story that I am never injured, and I'm really never injured. In 55 years, I've had like 3 very minor, my shoulder was tweaked for a little bit. And right after I ran the marathon one time, my knee was sore for a while, and I had to, and I had a hamstring pull one time. That's it in 55 years. And I've done half Ironman, marathons, other triathlons. Like I play competitive sports now. Like I am never injured. I gift that story to you as well. When I carry that story with me, it becomes who I am. And the universe replies to my story. It answers my story that I am never injured. I am always feeling well. I just had a massage the other day. I had some women in town from my inner circle. And oh my God, it was so fun to spend time with these women who, some of them have been with me for 5 or 6 years, getting coached by me for 5 or 6 years. And they just happened to come in town from all over the country to get together. And so we went to this airy ancient baths, and they have this water ritual, and we got a massage. And as I was laying down to get a massage, the woman was like, do you have any injuries that I should know about? And I said, no, I feel amazing 100% of the time. And she was so not expecting to hear that, and said, I have never had anyone answer me like that. And I said, oh, good. And she said, are there any areas of your body that you need specific? I said, no, I feel amazing 100% of the time. And I know that may sound arrogant or boastful. It's not. It is just my story. And it is how I am 99.9% of the time. And so I don't mind sharing it so that it's what I am 100% of the time. I gift that story to you. I have other powerful, positive stories. Like I am the luckiest traveler. I always everything works out for me when I travel. And I've always had this story. My mom traveled with me once. We went to New York after 9/11 to go to New York and give back to the city and love on the city. And I wrote a letter to the city, and I left it there at ground zero. And we did this very special trip. And she was like, I don't know what it is. Maybe blondes do have more fun. You are the best person in the world to travel with. Everything works out. Everything worked out for us. We got front row tickets to see David Letterman, and we weren't even trying. We stumbled upon, oh my God, who's the guy, the piano man? What's his name? Sing us a song. You're the piano man. Billy Joel, doing a concert by candlelight in Central Park. Everything worked out for us. planes get delayed and tickets appear and stuff like that. And that's been my story. Again, I gift it to you. It can be your story as well. We create from our stories. Let me see if you guys have any questions. So what do I do if I'm having an attraction to someone which feels true and destined, but then wondering if though I'm having if the thoughts I'm having are some kind of fantasy and could be unhelpful to me. Like, we could just kind of stop second guessing ourselves, right? Stop living in doubt. And what if it is a fantasy? That a fantasy is not unhelpful. What I suggest is holding on to the end result of what you desire. If you desire to be with an amazing partner, you hold on to that end result. And if it's fun to play around with it being that person for a while, that's not unhelpful. Ooh, what if that person calls me? What if that person falls in love with me? What if that person continues to reach out to me? That's fun, but we don't attach to it being a person. We hold on to what we want and why we want it. And the universe holds on to how and when. The universe delivers how and when. So I look at it completely differently. If you're attracted to someone, I'm like, what fun baby steps. That's exciting to be in that energy of being attracted to someone. We just don't get attached to it being that person. And we sit in the certainty and the knowingness that it will come no matter what. Great question. Hope that helped. Let me see if there's others. Let's see if there's any other questions, guys. Tell me what has been your biggest takeaway from this so far. It's great to write it down and solidify it and share, like, you'll take this with you. How do we stop wallowing over what hasn't worked out in the past in order to manifest again for the future? Great question. Because you cannot wallow over what hasn't worked out, or you're in lack of having that thing and you're placing an order for not having it. When you wallow over something not working out, you're placing an order for it not working out. You have to want it so bad that you stop wallowing, right? You have to know that you create from your dominant thoughts. And this is where I would suggest that you become delusionally positive. I'm a delusionally positive person. I was saying to my son earlier, hey, if you want to get into that college, you can get into that college. He's like, no, I can't. I'm like, I know that on paper, realistically, it looks like you can't, but anything is possible. Stop counting yourself out. Be the outlier. Like, make it happen. Like, I don't live in reality. I live in infinite potential. So I don't wallow over something not working out. Like, I got turned down from Hay House to publish my book. And I was like, oh, well, okay. Maybe it's not this book. Maybe it's the next book. Maybe it's not Hay House. Maybe it's another awesome publisher. But Hay House is my dream. So I kept that out there as this high end result of, I want to work with Hay House one day. That will happen. But I don't know how and when, but I want that. Pardon me. And I kept putting it out there. And I did not wallow over being turned down or over not getting contracts. And contracts started coming in, and then things totally changed on a dime. And when you would never expect it, I got on another call with them, and they were so glad I didn't have a contract yet, and they gave me a contract. Like, hello. So I want my desire so badly that I won't allow myself to wallow. You have to have the awareness that wallowing just keeps you in lack and fear and without. It does not serve you, so stop doing it. Hope that helps. Can I manifest my ex to get back together? I get this question probably more than anything. We cannot manifest for someone else, but we can manifest within a relationship by holding the end result of, I want to be in a thriving relationship with that person. But you can't manifest desire for you in someone else. You can have desire for them, but you can't manifest that desire in you, and you would never want to. You would never want to change someone's soul assignments and force them to be with you. So stop trying to manifest the ex back together and start picturing you and your ex thriving in your own way. And if you're meant to be together, you're meant to be together. And keep picturing and holding on to the fact that you're in a really beautiful relationship with the right person who compliments you. And I don't care how good they were for you. We like over romanticize relationships. We have to accept that if they're not in our life anymore, it's because they're not meant to be in our life. Like, life is happening for you, not to you. You had desires that relationship did not align with, or they would still be there. You have desires and they don't love you the way you need to be loved, or they would still be there. Period. So stop trying to manifest an ex back and start picturing and desiring being with someone who fully completes you. Let's see if there's any other questions. Pardon me. And then I'm going to go take a nice Epsom salt bath and shower and get ready for this call with these ladies. Let's see what else. Any more questions here, guys? I'm just scrolling down. I think I'm really behind here. So I just did, how do I change my mindset when I've got stuff going on like job center, volunteer shifts, anxiety attacks? My aim is to get into voice acting, paid cartoons, and my own shows. Best advice you can give. How do I change my mindset when I have stuff going on? So manifesting becomes a game of staying in the right frequency even when life is happening. That's what it is. So I just did a webinar on January 8th, and it was called The 10 Steps to Manifest Anything. You can still join the webinar. It's $33. You can still get access to it. The link is in my bio. It's a really powerful, really good webinar. I got more feedback on this webinar than any webinar I've ever delivered, with people saying that they loved it, that they had huge takeaways. So check out that webinar if you want. But here's the thing. How do I change my mindset? I talked about on the webinar that it's a game of maintaining your awareness and your positivity and your gratitude while life is still happening. That's the game, bottom line. I call it staying in the vortex, staying positive, staying hopeful, staying open, staying focused on the end result. Any of those things all say the same thing. You are in control of your mindset. No one else is. Your job is not. Your volunteer shifts are not. You are in control of your anxiety attacks. Change your story. And if you want to get into voice acting, there is no voice actor who's more deserving of this experience than you are. They just believed in themselves and they stayed aligned with their dream and desire, and they did not let themselves get in their own way. So you get positive, you stay hopeful, you get grateful for everything in your life. You remove your own obstacles like your anxiety attacks and that your job is getting in the way. You're in your own way. You change those stories and you focus on the end result of being a paid voiceover actor in whatever way that comes, and getting paid to do this thing that I love and is so incredibly fulfilling. You stay focused on that and you take ruthless daily action after it. Ruthless daily action. You just become so delusional that this is happening that you describe yourself as a successful voiceover actor. You put it out there in every way. You try and get as many auditions as you possibly can. You try and get in front of as many agents as you possibly can. And you just burn the boats. You burn the boats. You go for that and nothing else because you know that it's going to happen. But that means you also have to get out of your own way about, I'm too busy and I have a job and I have these volunteer stuff and I have anxiety. No, that has to end. You have to be so positive and hopeful and grateful that you get after it. So the good news is you're in your own way. The good news is, how do you change your mindset? You do it. You do the work. You work on your state every morning and how you feel. You do affirmations. You listen to music. You plug into, positive work and positive content. That's why the ladies in my 5-month group coaching container, They're listening to content all the time. We get on 2 calls per month. We're working on this stuff all the time because we have to stay plugged in to the good so that we don't revert back and get on the old train to the bad. Hope that helped and gave you some inspiration. How do I change my mindset around attracting a husband? Oh, wait, that was good. I feel like something is holding me back, but yet I want a relationship and to become a mother. Great. I hope that from this conversation, you already know what to do. You focus on the end result of being in love and of having, a partner. And you picture it and you imagine it and you sit in the certainty of it and you identify as it first and you act like it's already there. And becoming a mother, I used to picture holding my son in my arms and looking into his blue eyes until I was moved to tears. I would walk to work and I'd stop at the river and I'd listen to this one song that was called Never Saw Blue. And I would imagine looking into his blue eyes just for a few seconds. And I got pregnant really easily at 38 years old, had him early, walked him down to that river. It was in August and got to look into his baby blue eyes. Had my daughter at 41, effortless and easily. And I did the same thing. I manifested these things by imagining them in my life already and feeling the feelings of them being there. Let's see this one. I have been wanting my family on board. Wait, this is good. It keeps jumping, sorry. To be united, close, and in harmony, and it's been a year. I've been writing the story, but they have not budged much, and I rarely see my grown kids, even though... Okay, so... Yeah. Here's the thing. People often say, and I promise you, if you read through these things or if you look at my messages, people say all the time, I tried and tried and tried. I did all of it. I've been doing it for a year and nothing's working. Your reality will show me what your dominant thoughts and words and feelings have been. And if you've been writing a story that my family is on board and we are all very close, but you've been thinking, oh, this sucks. They are so distant and I hate this and we are so dysfunctional and we're so separated. You've been you create from your 5 power tools, your thoughts, your words, your feelings, your beliefs, and your stories. So this tells me in your reality that some of those power tools have been focused on the disconnection. And yet, we can't create for other people. We're never creating within a relationship and saying, I want these people to do these things. That's not it. What we can create within a relationship is, I want to feel close and connected. That's it. That's the only thing I'm in control of. I want to feel close and connected to that person. I want to be in a thriving and happy relationship with that person. But we do not control them, their thoughts, their words, their actions, or anything. So you can actually get into a close, connected, thriving relationship here in your mind, but you can never change them physically, emotionally, mentally, or what they say or do. So there are things we control, which is everything inside of us, our thoughts, our words, our feelings, our actions. And there are things we can't control, which is other people, circumstances, places, the government, everything else. We have to come back to what we can control. How can you be the most connected, the most loving, the most positive? How can you focus on all the connection you had with your kids before, even if you're not having it now? How can you do the inner work? Okay, last question. Give us the steps to manifest getting something. I feel like there's so much noise around manifestation now that it has gotten complicated in people's minds. Sure, this is what my 5-month group coaching container is all about. In my 5-month group coaching container, you have a manifesting mastery course and then a next level life experience course. I'm explaining this because this will answer your question. The basics of law of attraction is ask, believe, receive. But that is very elusive. And I don't teach manic manifesting. So when people ask me, how can I get back with my ex? How can I get a new job? That is manic manifesting. When we're trying out of nowhere to manifest one big thing, big or small, we are manic manifesting. We're trying to find a tool that works to manipulate the universe. What really works is building the right manifesting foundation. You need foundational manifesting, which means you're in control of your 5 power tools and you're using them to shape your reality. And that takes work. It doesn't happen in a webinar or in a weekend or over 2 weeks. It happens in 5 months, and then it happens over the next 18 months. It happens because we have all these habits and patterns that don't serve us, and we don't rewrite those in one day. We rewrite them over a series of many months of using tools to reshape our lives. So how do I teach manifesting? I'll teach it to you here, but I promise you there's a lot more work that goes into laying the foundation and manifesting consciously than just hearing these 4 steps. The webinar, someone asked us, the webinar is live. The webinar is recorded. I did a webinar on January 8th. It's called the 10 Steps to Manifest Anything. So get that webinar, the person who just asked me this question, 10 steps to manifest anything. Every one of these steps, I give tools for. You will get them. You will love these steps. You will not go, oh no, I don't know. You will agree with every one of these 10 steps. Within those 10 steps, I have 2 other formulas that I teach you as well. So how do we manifest? Ask, believe, receive is the elusive way that it's been taught for centuries. I teach these 4 steps to manifest. But again, you need to do this work. You need coaching, community, and accountability in order to lay the new foundation and completely rewrite your manifesting story. So how I manifest, step 1, I focus on the end result of what I want. So end result, meaning the big overarching thing and how I want to feel. What and why is up to me, how and when is up to the universe. Step 2, now I ask the universe for how to get there. Show me the way to being a best-selling author. Show me the way to the most easy and effortless book launch and the biggest book launch that Hay House has ever had. Show me the way to all of my dreams and desires. Step 3, take inspired action on the guidance that you get. So at the highly desired end result, ask the universe, action, and step 4, be grateful no matter what. Be so grateful in the now, so grateful for all you have that you are happy without it. That's the art of receiving. That's the art of allowing it in, is just how happy can you be. So that's how you manifest. If you need support with that, message me. Good question. How to change an acne problem. Hey, listen, I've been talking to other teens about this. We have to focus on how much we love ourselves and our skin. We have to focus on how healthy we are, because that can really be a tough one because we're focused so much on the problem. My webinar from January 8th, the 10 steps, is $33. There's a link in my bio. I got tons of feedback on how much people loved it and that they've watched it multiple times. I was at the webinar. Can I rewatch it again? Yep, we sent out the recording. And if you didn't get it, send an email to, well, you got it, but it's probably in your spam. Send an email to info@myhappylife, happy with an I. So wonderful to be here with you, everybody. Thanks for joining me for these deep conversations. I love them. I love sharing the messages from the vortex with you. I keep getting inspired to share them more often, so I will. So far, I do a live every Tuesday, but maybe I'll keep them shorter and do little ones more often. You tell me below what you would prefer. And yeah, head to the link in my bio I'll put RTJ in there, the 5-month group coaching container, if any of you guys are interested in joining, or message me with questions. And the link for a recent article that I was in is there, and that's free. And then the link for the webinar is in there too, if you want to get the replay to the webinar, and an opportunity to join the 5-month coaching container. Okay, wonderful. Thank you for being here, everybody. Have a great day. Get out of your own way. Allow in your dreams and desires. 2026 is going to be amazing, and I love being on this journey with you. Okay, bye.